And then the last one I recall is the silver idiom.
I didn't get
Yeah.
Idiom? I was my special one too. I had idiom.
At first I thought
It's an exaggeration. You're so mad, you're boiling. If she said like you're so mad, you're boiling, that was exaggeration.
Right. So I'm well to settling. Which one?
It's how you want to choose to define it. Can you make it fit the definition?
Yes.
That's awesome. And there's questions too.
I make it fit the definition.
You want to see multiple choice answers. You just want to do that. So you narrow it down to those two, which makes sense. These are hard though, aren't they? They are really hard.
Now I know I feel like, when you were sitting about like that, I felt like
Wait, I missed that one.
And you're going to, what was I looking at? I gotta think about this. Give me time.
So I'm watching the 9-12 teachers.
That turns up on the average.
I missed it, I feel like,
I know, probably put them up.
We don't talk about those as much integrating.
I just do. You know what? Usually
But you know, I'm saying, now I think that I asked about thinking.
or identify it white and
All right, ready? All right. Where was the real learning happening? Where was the real learning happening just now? It's the discussion. The discussion time where you get to say, well, I think this, but you think that. But wait a minute, it could be this one, it could be that one. And then you did some of you did exactly what the kids do. You looked at me, you said, what's the answer? And I did what every good teacher does, which is, what do you think? What do you think? And how are you going to prove it? And if I went through there right now, and I gave you all the answers, what would happen to thinking you're doing right now? You'd be like, oh, got it right, got it wrong, move on, let's go. So I'm not going to give you the answers. All right? You kind of had a chance to talk it out. And some of you made very good cases for why one could be one and not the other. Does anybody have one that they're kind of debating back and forth? What are you thinking?
Boiling mad.
Boiling mad.
It could be either an idiom or a hyperbole, but we didn't know how frequently it was used to be considered an expression or a saying.
Okay. So what did you guys decide on?
Maybe wrote it both.
Maybe wrote it both. All right. What does other people say about that? Boiling mad.
We put it in both.
You kind of had it both.
We had the same conversation.
But kind of, you had metaphor in there though too, didn't you?
Yeah.
We did.
Yeah. You know, interesting conversations over here. Did it become a saying first, or did it become a saying after it was a piece of figurative language, like a metaphor, and now it's become part of our language? I'm not really sure. Okay, this is how the kids feel on a standardized test. Which one do I pick? Right? And you have to kind of reason it out in your head. Which one makes the most sense? Many of you got it down to 2. Now you're supposed to pick which one is best. It's hard to do. So, here's our next thing that we're going to do. Now that you've had a chance to work on your own, you've reviewed figurative language, you filled it out, you had a chance to talk, it's probably a little clearer in your head, maybe, as mud. We're going to now use a book. All right? Now we're going to do a book called Roller Coasters. And you have copies in front of you.
Or you could just listen.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah. So, yeah, here's what we want you to do. I take that back, put the book away. All right? Set it aside. We want you just to look at it on the screen. And we're going to do what we call a movie read. Now, not gonna stop and ask you to look for figurative language, we're not gonna ask you to make predictions, we're not gonna do anything, we're gonna read it straight through, and then we're gonna go back and read it a second time. All right, so. All right, it's Roller Coaster by Marla Frazee. All of these people are waiting in line for the roller coaster. Most of them have ridden on lots of roller coasters. Some of them have only ridden on a roller coaster once or twice. At least one of them has never ridden on a roller coaster before, ever. The roller coaster is very big and very noisy. You must be tall enough to ride it, but sometimes even those who are tall enough decide they don't want to. Lots of people change their minds about riding the roller coaster at the very last minute. Finally, it's time to get into the cars. The ride operator says, load them up, 2 to a seat. When everyone is buckled in, the operator rings a bell, and then he releases the brake. The train jerks forward on the tracks. Now it is too late for anyone to change their mind. Slowly, the train is pulled up the hill by a chain. Clickety-clackety, clickety-clackety, up, up, up. And then, whoosh. Most people scream, some people can't make a sound, and one person can't even open her eyes. The train zips, it zooms, it dips and dives, and goes all the way around. Whee! Now the ride is over. Most of these people are dizzy. Some of them have wobbly knees. But at least one of them is planning to ride the roller coaster again. Right now. Okay. So, here's what we're going to do. We're going to read it a second time. All right? This time, we want you to listen for figurative language. All right? And this time, it's okay to use your copy. Because we want you to mark a few pages that you notice some figurative language as we read it. You can have a copy in front of you if you want it. You can just have your figurative language worksheet where you want to just jot down on the back when you see or hear some figurative language. All right. Okay, ready? So, here we go. Roller coaster. What are you listening for?
Figurative language.
Yep, figurative language. Do you have to write it all? No, just mark a few places for yourself in any way you'd like. All right, here we go. All of these people are waiting in line for the roller coaster. Most of them have ridden on lots of roller coasters. Some of them have only ridden on a roller coaster once or twice. At least one of them has never ridden on a roller coaster before, ever. The roller coaster is very big and very noisy. You must be tall enough to ride it. But sometimes even those who are tall enough decide they don't want to. Lots of people change their mind about riding the roller coaster at the very last minute. Finally, It is time to get into the cars. The ride operator says, load them up, 2 to a seat. When everyone is buckled in, the operator rings a bell, and then he releases the brake. The train jerks forward on the tracks. Now it is too late for anyone to change their mind. Slowly the train is pulled up the hill by a chain. Clickety-clack, clickety-clack, up, up, up. And then, whoosh. Most people scream. Some people can't make a sound. And one person can't even open their eyes. The train zips. It zooms. It dips and dives. And goes all the way around. Whee! Now the ride is over. Most of the people are dizzy. Some of them have wobbly knees, but at least one of them is planning to ride the roller coaster again. Right now. So you've looked for some figurative language, and want you to kind of talk at your table. What examples of figurative language did you find in the book? And what kind is it? So take a couple minutes and talk at your tables.
Right.
Yes,
I didn't get any signs. I didn't get a figurative
but it does go around. It's like Did it work that way? No. It didn't work that way. How did it work?
Okay, so what did you discover? What kind of figurative language was the author using? Onomatopoeia, mostly. Okay, people found a few other things? All right, so your next task. Okay. Oh yeah, there's the clicker.
I'll take the clicker.
All right. What does it mean in context? So pick a couple that you want to talk about. What do they mean?
So our writer, used onomatopoeia.
Right.
What does it mean?
Right. What did it mean when you look at some of them? Explain how you know it was an onomatopoeia. Kind of pick a couple.
really often change the phrase. Yeah. But I mean, it's the sound.
And the doors. So it would have been above, you know, I can't say no, no matter what, but see, it helped us to read it that way.
That's what I hear.
All right, so give an example. What's one that you talked about? Let's take zips and zooms. Onomatopoeia, right? To describe what? The sound of the roller coaster.
And then you have other examples, we have clickety clack, right?
Which is describing the sound of the wheels.